Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Asian Vision Dialogue. Today's topic is about the current and future global security in 2023 and beyond. And I have the pleasure to be joined by Dr. Joseph Matthew. He is a senior professor at BELTEI International University of Cambodia. And without further delay, please join me in welcoming Dr. Joseph in our program. Greetings, Dr. Joseph.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Doctor, for joining us again in Asian Vision Dialogue. And with the current situation, some said that the world is becoming fragmented, and of course we need to look for restoring peace and negotiation for some countries that are having conflicts. But before we jump into the main question of our conversation today, I would like to ask from your observation what are the significant changes have you seen in the current world order? Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, the current situation or international current division in the world is based on bipolar, two division. We can see it. After the Ukraine war, the world is divided into two blocks. All the Western countries together on the one hand, and the China-Russia partnership has become more deepening and become more comprehensive. Now, these two division, one side is the Western countries, and the other side there's the very strong and ironclad partnership between the China and Russia is creating sort of like an imbalance in the world, in the geopolitics. So I believe that in the future, what we're looking at it, if this two power center of the power will not reconcile, will not work together, maybe we probably have a more problem in the world with in the term of the geopolitics, geoeconomics, and civilization also. So I believe the world at the moment is divided into two blocks or two divisions. Yes.
Well, yeah, thank you, Dr. Joe. So when it's coming to the bipolar system, like in the world order, so how such changes would make the world be in a different way? For example, like for the regional emerging power. So how do you see those emerging regional power like Australia, Japan, South Korea, India in the global security order? Yes.
Yeah, actually this is the dilemma. Actually, for the small country like Cambodia and other country, that they have to choose. They cannot remain neutral, and then the forces are their external forces. They are forcing economically, geopolitically, and there is also the diplomatic pressures on other countries to take the side. Now, this is a very difficult scenario where the two blocks are emerging. Now, here I would like to say that the basic issue here is acceptance. Western acceptance, China as an emerging leader. That is a basic, the phenomena. This is a basic problem. Western country, and especially the USA, is very hard, very difficult to accept China as an emerging geopolitics or geoeconomic leader in the world. So they are doing everything to undermine his leadership, China leadership in the world, through the many different tactics of the recirclement, containment, recircling the China, containment. All these are the tactics to undermine the China ability to maneuver freely and fairly in the world. Now, the China have created the 4 initiatives in the world. Number one is the BRI initiative. BRI initiative connected with the infrastructure development. And China is working almost all Asian, Africa and Latin American countries. This BRI project is working in the 152 countries. Second initiative of the China is a global development initiative, which are working with the other underdeveloping countries to develop their economy, import, export, free trade agreement, or sort of thing like. The third initiative of the China is a global security initiative. Global security initiative is the one that have helped to bring the peace between the Saudi Arabia and the Iran. So it is actually the part of the China reaffirmation and commitment to bringing the global security. Actually, the China strongly believe the security of the one country is depending on the security of other country. So if you look at the Ukraine war, is also the same. The NATO or the European country did not take the security concern of the Russia seriously, and that triggered the war. So now China believe that security concern of the other country should be taken as seriously as your own. Number four is China Global Civilization Initiative. So these are the four initiatives China has started the rollout from 2013 when the President Xi came into the power. So looking at all these initiatives are multilateralism. They're talking about the multilateralism. They're talking about the globalization, the making. So the China strategy to globalize the economy, and then where you have a multilateral system, and then there is no any one country manipulating or controlling the other country. So they want the even share, even ground for the competition. So the China is looking the Europe and America not as a rival, but looking at as a competitors. But the way the China has been perceived and conceived by the Europe and America is absolutely negative, and that creating a problem. Now it is very hard for the USA to live in the world where the China control the economy and Russia control the energy. Now it is very hard for the USA and America to accept and live in the world where the China control the world economy and the Russia control the energy. So it is also the geopolitics, geoeconomic, geostrategic. This is all mixed all together, and that creating if you look at the China-USA trade war, it's also the part of that thinking, that negative thinking of the Western country about China, that China is trying to manipulating the system. But China is actually the working for the global development. That's why they have all initiative. If you look at the BR project, all the initiative, China is working sincerely and committed for the global development, eradication of the poverty from the world, bring the prosperity, creating the environment where the small and big countries, they can work together, digitalization, commitment, all these things, they believe in it. And then there are some superpower, super rich, they cannot digest this initiative. So they are making and they creating some sort of hindrance and undermine the ability of China to move freely in the world. Yes.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Dr. Joe.
Yeah.
Apart from China, as you have mentioned, we would like to know about the other relevant regional emerging power like Australia, Japan, South Korea, and India, that their roles in the global security order. Have you observed how all of them have done in this?
Yeah, yes. It's a very good question, because in the Indo-Pacific, they're weaponizing this whole area. by creating, they created two group, one called the Quad, other is AUKUS. The Quad have a 4 country, USA, Japan, India and Australia. Now this Quad is a defense pact between the 4 countries, and AUKUS is the 3 country where you have Australia, UK and US. These two pact or two organization, actually the group, they are actually the replicate of the NATO. They are the cat copy of the NATO in the India-Pacific. The purpose and mission of these two group is to encircle and contain the China in the Indo-Pacific. This is only their purpose for creating the odd AUKUS and Quad in the Indo-Pacific to circle around and contain the China grow in the Indo-Pacific. That is all. So they are working with the ASEAN countries like a Philippines, like a Singapore to help them to support their idea in the Indo-Pacific. But the ASEAN are aware of it. ASEAN is not the bloc because for them is the economic prosperity, economic immunity is the number one priority for the ASEAN, not the defense pact. So actually, these two group or two pact, they created two group of the organization. They created, it is sort of like a replica of the NATO in the Indo-Pacific in order to contain and encircle the China, which is actually is not sure. So China, it is sort of like a Cold War mentality, which is driving this Western country and USA to encircle and contain. The China do not have any ulterior motive. China is not willing to control or expand is an influence. China is want economic growth, digitalization and connectivities and prosperity in the world and also especially in the ASEAN.
Yeah, well, Dr. Joseph, so you mentioned the Cold War mentality,
Yeah.
and in the worst scenario, will it be possible for the World War III to happen? Yes.
Yeah, this is a very intriguing question, and there are some commentator, political analysts, they are thinking about if the Ukraine war will not stop immediately, maybe it will trigger the Third World War. So, I mean, but I do not personally believe there would be a third war, because actually because the nuclear energy, nuclear power or nuclear bomb is not only Russia has, but there are 6 or 7 nuclear power in the world, which have a China and the USA and the France and the UK. So I don't believe sometime the nuclear weapon deterrence is used as a deterrence for not promoting the war in the region. So I do not believe Russia or any other country will use the nuclear weapon because the third war will only start if either side of using the nuclear weapon. That probably can trigger the Third World War. But as long as they are not using the nuclear weapon, I do not believe that there would be a third war. So, but then again, this convention war, what is happening in the Ukraine, it dragging it sucking in all the economic gains and the prosperity and the institution, financial institution, all these things sucking into it, and that creating a liability and the burden on the world economy, geopolitics, and also the relationship between the one region to another region. So I think bringing the peace in between the Russia and the Ukraine is very important. Then once you achieve that peace, all these things scenario which you're looking around, tension, geopolitical tension, and the rivalry, this will come down and it will become normal again. So now the most important thing for the world is to stop the Russian-Ukraine war, which is have triggered all this. You see, all the problem, economic problem, food shortage, gas prices, all are triggered from this war. So I think the world need to understand, and then they do something. And that I think, as I said earlier, that they should support the China initiative to work as a mediators and support them to bring the end of this war, actually.
All right, thank you, Dr. Joe. I think we have such a fruitful discussion today concerning the topic on the current and future global security,
Right.
2023 and beyond.
Right.
Due to time constraint, I would finish our dialogue today.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Dr. Joseph, for your participation.
And also, I thank you for inviting me here.
Yes,
Thank
you. Ladies and gentlemen, the dialogue has now come to an end. Thank you for being with us, and see you in the next episode.
Okay.